The crash echoed through the penthouse. Darnell immediately pulled Jallen against his chest. "Stay behind me." The little boy wrapped both arms around his father's neck. Monica stood beside them, listening carefully. Another sound came from downstairs. Crash. Then silence. Darnell looked at Monica. "Stay here." She shook her head. "No. This is my house. And that's your son." She pointed toward Jallen. "If someone came here looking for him, you're going to need help." Darnell didn't have time to argue. He quietly opened the bedroom door. The hallway was dark. He stepped forward. Monica followed. They reached the staircase. Darnell slowly looked down. The lights in the living room were off. But something was moving near the windows. A shadow. Darnell's heart began pounding. He reached for his phone. Then suddenly, the lights came back on. The room was empty. Darnell stared. "Security." His voice echoed through the penthouse. No one answered. He tried his phone. No signal. Monica looked at him. Someone disabled the communication system. Darnell's eyes narrowed. "How would you know that?" "I've seen it before." "Where?" "At the hospital." Darnell stared at her. "What happened at the hospital?" Before she could answer, they heard footsteps from his study. Darnell immediately moved toward the room. The door was open. His desk drawers had been pulled out. Papers were scattered everywhere. His computer screen was on. Someone had been searching his office. Darnell rushed to the desk. "My files." "What files?" "The financial records." Monica looked at him. "Which records?" Darnell opened a hidden compartment inside the desk. The compartment was empty. His face went pale. "They're gone." "What?" "The files Amara left." Monica's expression changed. "Did she leave anything else?" Darnell looked at her. "I don't know." Monica walked toward the desk. She examined the scattered papers. Then she noticed something beneath the desk. A small silver object. She picked it up. Darnell immediately recognized it. "That's Amara's." Monica looked at him. "What is it?" "A key." "To what?" Darnell shook his head. "I don't know." Monica turned the key over. There was a tiny number engraved on it. 247. She stared at it. Then looked at Darnell. 2:47. Darnell's expression changed. 2:47 a.m. Neither of them spoke. The same time. The same number. The same strange connection. Then Jallen suddenly appeared at the doorway. He was holding his stuffed elephant. "Mommy had the key." Darnell immediately crouched. "What did you say?" Jallen pointed at the key. "Mommy had it." "Where?" The little boy looked toward the wall. "Behind the picture." Darnell followed his gaze. A large photograph of Amara hung above the fireplace. He rushed toward it. He pulled the photograph from the wall. Behind it was a small metal box. Darnell stared. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a flash drive. And another envelope. This one had his name written across it. Darnell. He opened it. The first sentence made his heart stop. "If you have found this, then someone has already entered our home." Darnell looked at Monica. She whispered. "Keep reading." He continued. "Darnell, I don't know how much time I have left. There is someone inside Whitfield Global who has been stealing money for years. I believe I know who it is. But there is something worse. This person knows about Jallen. And if they discover what I've found, our son could be in danger." Darnell's hands began shaking. He read the next line. "Do not trust anyone who tells you they are protecting you." Darnell stopped. His eyes moved toward Monica. Then back to the letter. The next sentence was even more disturbing. "Especially Marcus." Darnell's heart dropped. Marcus. His brother-in-law. The man who had stood beside him at Amara's funeral. The man who had cried beside him. The man Darnell had trusted with his company. Darnell slowly sat down. "No." Monica remained silent. Darnell looked at her. "Why didn't she tell me?" "Maybe she was afraid." "Afraid of Marcus?" "Maybe." Darnell looked at the flash drive. "What is on this?" Monica shook her head. "Don't open it here." "Why?" Because if someone was able to get inside your penthouse tonight, they may already have access to your computer. Darnell looked at his laptop. She was right. He immediately removed the flash drive. We're leaving. Where? Somewhere secure. Monica shook her head. No. Darnell looked at her. What? That's exactly what they want. Who? The person who sent the message. Darnell's expression hardened. Then what do we do? Monica looked toward Jallen. We find out what happened to Amara. They moved into a guest room. Darnell locked the door. Jallen was asleep beside him. Monica sat across the room. Darnell looked at the flash drive. How do we open it safely? I know someone. Who? A former investigator. Darnell frowned. Can I trust him? Monica gave him a faint smile. That's the problem with trust. What? You never really know. Darnell stared at her. Then suddenly, Jallen spoke in his sleep. Mommy. Darnell immediately turned. The little boy's eyes remained closed. Mommy, don't go. Darnell's heart broke. He walked over and held his son's hand. It's okay. Jallen suddenly whispered something else. Darnell leaned closer. What? The boy said. Uncle Marcus. Darnell froze. Monica stood. What did he say? Darnell looked at her. He said Marcus. Then Jallen opened his eyes. He stared directly at his father. And whispered. Daddy. Uncle Marcus made Mommy cry. The room went completely silent. Darnell felt the blood drain from his face. He had heard enough. Marcus wasn't simply connected to the missing money. He had been there. With Amara. Before she died. And now Darnell needed to know exactly what happened. At sunrise, Darnell called Marcus. Come to my office. Marcus sounded confused. What's going on? Just come. Is everything okay? Darnell looked at the sleeping Jallen. No. There was a pause. Why? Darnell's voice became cold. Because I know about the money. Silence. Then Marcus said. What money? Darnell smiled bitterly. The money you stole. The call ended. Darnell stared at his phone. Marcus had hung up. That was all the confirmation he needed. But there was one thing Darnell didn't know. Marcus hadn't hung up because he was afraid. He hung up because he was already on his way to the penthouse. And he wasn't coming alone. The morning sun had barely risen over Atlanta when Darnell stood beside the floor-to-ceiling window of his penthouse, staring down at the city. He hadn't slept. Not for even an hour. His mind kept replaying the previous night's events. The warning envelope. The disabled cameras. Amara's hidden letter. The missing financial records. And Jallen's words. Uncle Marcus made Mommy cry. Darnell closed his eyes. For 2 years, he had blamed himself for not saving Amara. Now, for the first time, he wondered if there had been something he could have done. Something she had tried to tell him. Something he had been too blind to see. Behind him, Monica was preparing breakfast for Jallen. The little boy sat quietly at the kitchen table. He was drawing. Darnell walked over. What are you drawing, buddy? Jallen turned the paper around. Darnell froze. It was a picture of 3 people. A little boy. His mother. And a tall man standing behind them. The man had been colored completely black. Darnell pointed at the drawing. Who is that? Jallen didn't answer. Buddy? The boy looked at him. That's the man who made Mommy cry. Darnell's stomach tightened. Is it Uncle Marcus? Jallen nodded. Monica stopped what she was doing. Darnell looked at her. She quietly said. We need to talk. An hour later, the penthouse security team informed Darnell that Marcus had arrived. Darnell stood in his study. Send him up. Monica immediately shook her head. No. Darnell looked at her. What? Don't meet him alone. He's my brother-in-law. That's exactly why. Darnell thought about it. Then nodded. He quietly activated the recording system in his office. Every word would be recorded. A few minutes later, the elevator doors opened. Marcus Whitfield walked into the penthouse. He was 52 years old. Tall. Well-dressed. Calm. He wore an expensive gray suit and carried a leather briefcase. Anyone looking at him would have seen a successful businessman. A respectable family man. Someone trustworthy. But Darnell now saw something different. He saw a man who had lied to him. Marcus smiled. Darnell. Darnell didn't smile. Sit down. Marcus looked around. What's going on? You tell me. Marcus sat. Darnell remained standing. I found some records. What records? Company transfers. Marcus's expression remained calm. What about them? Millions of dollars were transferred to shell companies. Marcus shrugged. Probably accounting errors. That's what you told Amara. For the first time, Marcus's expression changed. Only slightly. But Darnell saw it. You spoke to Amara about this? Darnell stepped closer. She wrote everything down. Marcus swallowed. She's dead. Darnell's eyes became cold. That doesn't mean her voice disappeared. Marcus looked toward the hallway. Where is Jallen? Darnell immediately noticed. Why? I just wanted to see him. You can see him after we finish talking. Marcus nodded slowly. Of course. Then he looked at Darnell. You've been spending too much time with that woman. Darnell's eyes narrowed. Monica? Yes. What does she have to do with this? Marcus leaned back. She's dangerous. Darnell laughed bitterly. A homeless woman is dangerous? You don't know her. Neither do you. Marcus stared at him. I know enough. Darnell stepped closer. What exactly do you know? Marcus didn't answer. Darnell placed a photograph on the desk. It showed Amara standing beside Monica. Marcus looked at it. His face became pale. Darnell noticed. You know her. Marcus looked away. No. You're lying. I've never seen her before. Darnell pushed another photograph across the desk. This one showed Monica outside the hospital. Marcus stared at it. Then Darnell said. You were there that night. Marcus looked up. Where? At the hospital. Silence. Darnell's voice became quieter. Why? Marcus didn't answer. Darnell slammed his hand against the desk. Why? Marcus finally spoke. Because Amara called me. Darnell froze. What did she want? She wanted to talk. About what? The company. What else? Marcus looked at him. She was afraid. Darnell's heart sank. Afraid of you? No. Then who? Marcus hesitated. Then whispered. Everyone. Suddenly, a loud noise came from upstairs. Crash. Darnell turned. Jallen. He ran toward the stairs. Monica was already moving. Marcus followed. They reached the bedroom. The window was open. Jallen was gone. Darnell froze. Where's my son? Monica looked around. Jallen. No answer. Darnell ran into the bathroom. Empty. Closet. Empty. Under the bed. Nothing. His heart began pounding. Jallen. Then Monica noticed something. The bedroom door. There was a small piece of paper lying beneath it. She picked it up. Darnell grabbed it. 3 words were written on it. Come alone, Darnell. Marcus stepped backward. Darnell slowly turned toward him. You. Marcus raised his hands. I didn't do this. Then where's my son? I don't know. Darnell grabbed Marcus by his jacket. You came here asking about my son. I was worried about him. You knew this would happen. I swear I didn't. Monica suddenly interrupted. Stop. Both men looked at her. She pointed toward the security camera. Look. Darnell turned. The camera feed showed Jallen walking down the hallway. But he wasn't alone. A man was holding his hand. The man's face wasn't visible. Darnell stared at the screen. Then he noticed something. The man was wearing a black jacket. And on his wrist was a distinctive silver watch. Marcus saw it too. His face changed. Darnell noticed. You recognize him. Marcus didn't respond. Marcus. Marcus finally whispered. That's not possible. Who is it? Marcus stared at the screen. Then said something that made Darnell's blood run cold. That's the man who was supposed to be dead. Darnell looked at Monica. What does he mean? Monica's face had gone pale. Who is he? Marcus looked at her. You really don't know? Monica shook her head. Marcus stepped closer. Then Amara didn't tell you everything. Darnell's voice became quiet. Tell me. Marcus looked at him. The man on that camera. He paused. Was the driver who killed Maya. Monica's eyes widened. Her hand flew to her mouth. No. Marcus nodded. He's alive. Darnell looked at Monica. She was trembling. For 6 years, she had believed the man responsible for her daughter's death had disappeared. But now he was alive. And he had Darnell's son. Darnell grabbed his phone. Call the police. Monica shook her head. Wait. Wait. If he's the man who killed Maya, then he knows where Jallen is. Exactly. And if we scare him? She looked toward the security screen. We may never see your son again. Darnell stared at the monitor. His son's room was empty. His heart was breaking. Then his phone suddenly rang. Unknown number. Darnell answered. A distorted voice spoke. You wanted answers. Darnell's voice shook with anger. Where's my son? He's safe. Put him on the phone. A pause. Then Darnell heard a tiny voice. Daddy? Darnell nearly collapsed. Jallen. Daddy, I'm okay. Darnell closed his eyes. Buddy, listen to me. Stay where you are. The voice returned. You have 1 hour. 1 hour for what? Bring the flash drive. Darnell's eyes widened. The flash drive Amara had hidden. The evidence. They wanted it. The voice continued. And come alone. Darnell tightened his grip on the phone. Where? The man gave him an address. An abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Atlanta. Then the call ended. Darnell looked at Monica. She was already shaking her head. You're not going alone. Darnell looked at her. I have no choice. Monica stepped closer. Yes, you do. He's my son. And I'm coming with you. Darnell stared at her. No. Monica's expression hardened. Then you may never find out why Amara trusted me. Darnell froze. What does that mean? Monica reached into her bag. She pulled out the silver necklace. Then she opened it. The pendant separated. Inside was a tiny photograph. Darnell took it. His face went completely pale. The photograph showed Amara, Monica, and a third person. A man. Darnell recognized him instantly. It was the same man from the security footage. But there was something impossible about the photograph. It had been taken 3 months after Maya's supposed death. Darnell looked at Monica. How is this possible? Monica whispered. That's the question Amara died trying to answer. Darnell stared at the photograph in his trembling hands. He couldn't move. He couldn't speak. The world around him seemed to disappear. There was Amara. There was Monica. And standing between them was the man Darnell had just seen on his security footage. The same man who had taken Jallen. The same man Monica believed had killed her daughter. The same man who, according to every record, was supposed to be dead. Darnell finally looked up. Who is he? Monica's eyes remained fixed on the photograph. His name is Raymond Cole. Marcus immediately looked away. Darnell noticed. You know him. Marcus didn't answer. Darnell grabbed his arm. You know this man. Marcus pulled away. Yes. Who is he? Marcus took a deep breath. Raymond used to work for Whitfield Global. Darnell stared at him. As what? Security. Darnell's eyes widened. Security? Marcus nodded. He worked directly under me. Darnell looked back at the photograph. When did he leave? Marcus hesitated. 6 years ago. The same year Maya died. Marcus nodded. Darnell's expression hardened. Why was I never told? Because it was handled internally. Handled? Darnell's voice rose. My wife was investigating him. Marcus remained silent. She knew about Maya. Yes. And you knew? Yes. Darnell stepped closer. Then why didn't you tell me? Marcus looked at him. Because your wife didn't trust you. Darnell froze. What? She believed you would confront Raymond immediately. And what's wrong with that? Marcus's voice became quiet. Because Raymond wasn't working alone. The room went silent. Darnell looked at Monica. She seemed just as shocked. Who else was involved? Marcus shook his head. I don't know. You're lying. I'm not. Darnell stepped closer. You've lied to me all morning. Marcus looked exhausted. Because I was trying to protect you. Darnell laughed bitterly. Everyone keeps saying that. He looked toward the empty hallway where Jallen had disappeared. But my son is missing. Marcus lowered his eyes. I know. Darnell looked at the clock. He had less than an hour. The kidnappers wanted the flash drive. But Darnell couldn't understand why. Whatever was on that drive was obviously important. Important enough for someone to threaten his family. Important enough for someone to kidnap a 4-year-old. He turned to Monica. You're coming with me. Monica nodded. Marcus stepped forward. I'm coming too. Darnell immediately shook his head. No. You need me. I don't trust you. Marcus looked at him. You shouldn't. Darnell's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? Marcus took a deep breath. I've made mistakes. That's all you're going to say? No. Marcus looked at Monica. She needs to know something. Monica stared at him. What? Marcus lowered his voice. Your daughter wasn't killed by accident. Monica stopped breathing. Darnell looked at Marcus. What did you say? Marcus continued. Raymond was driving the vehicle. Monica's eyes filled with tears. I knew it. But, Marcus added, he wasn't supposed to hit Maya. Monica shook her head. What are you saying? Marcus looked at her. She saw something. What? She saw Raymond meeting someone. Monica's hands began trembling. Who? Marcus didn't answer. Darnell stepped forward. Who was he meeting? Marcus looked at Darnell. Someone from your family. Darnell's face went pale. Who? Marcus's silence was enough. Darnell whispered. Marcus. Marcus finally said. Your father. Darnell froze. My father? Yes. My father died 12 years ago. I know. Then how could he have been there? Marcus looked toward the photograph. That's what Amara was trying to find out. Darnell felt a chill run through him. His father had been dead for 12 years. But suddenly, pieces of the puzzle began fitting together. The money. The shell companies. The missing records. Raymond. Maya. Amara. And now his father. Darnell shook his head. No. Marcus looked at him. Your father didn't die broke. Darnell's eyes widened. What? He left behind accounts. That's impossible. Hidden accounts. Where? Marcus looked at the flash drive. That's what Amara discovered. Darnell grabbed the flash drive. Then we're going. Monica nodded. Marcus stepped forward. Take me. No. Darnell, listen. Marcus's voice became urgent. If Raymond sees you alone, he'll kill you. Then why would I take you? Because he knows me. Darnell stared at him. Exactly. Marcus looked down. I can get close enough to find Jallen. Darnell didn't trust him. But he had no time. He looked at Monica. She nodded reluctantly. Take him. Darnell looked at her. Why? Because if Marcus wanted your son dead, he wouldn't have warned you. Darnell stared at Marcus. Then finally nodded. Fine. 40 minutes later, 3 black SUVs left the penthouse. Darnell sat in the first vehicle. Monica sat beside him. Marcus followed behind. The city disappeared behind them. Buildings became fewer. Roads became darker. Eventually, they reached an abandoned industrial area. The warehouse stood alone. Broken windows. Rusty metal doors. No lights. No cars. Darnell stepped out. His phone rang. He answered. Where's my son? The distorted voice returned. Inside. Let me hear him. A few seconds passed. Then Jallen's voice came through. Daddy? Darnell closed his eyes. I'm here, buddy. Are you coming? I'm coming. Monica is coming too? Darnell looked at her. Yes. There was silence. Then the voice returned. That's a mistake. Darnell's eyes narrowed. What? You should have left her behind. The call ended. Monica looked at him. They know me. Darnell nodded. They know all of us. They entered the warehouse. The door slammed shut behind them. Darkness surrounded them. Then the lights came on. Jallen was sitting in a chair across the room. His hands weren't tied. He looked frightened. Darnell immediately stepped forward. Jallen. But Monica grabbed his arm. Wait. Darnell stopped. Something was wrong. There was no one standing beside Jallen. No guards. No Raymond. No Marcus. Just the little boy. Darnell slowly walked forward. Jallen? The boy looked at him. Daddy. Darnell reached him. He pulled him into his arms. My baby. Jallen began crying. I knew you'd come. Darnell hugged him tightly. Then he noticed something. There was a small device attached to Jallen's shirt. A recording device. Darnell's heart sank. Who put this on you? Jallen pointed toward the darkness. The man. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the warehouse. Good evening, Darnell. Darnell turned. A man stepped out of the shadows. Raymond Cole. He was older than Darnell remembered. Gray hair. Cold eyes. A scar across his cheek. Darnell stepped in front of Jallen. You kidnapped my son. Raymond smiled. No. He looked at Jallen. I brought him here. Darnell's fists tightened. Why? Because you finally started asking the right questions. Raymond looked toward Monica. She knows why. Monica stared at him. Why are you alive? Raymond smiled. Because someone paid me to disappear. Darnell's heart stopped. Who? Raymond looked at Marcus. Then back at Darnell. The same person who ordered me to silence Amara. Darnell's blood ran cold. Who? Raymond smiled. Then he said the one thing Darnell never expected to hear. Your wife is not dead. Darnell stopped breathing. Monica's eyes widened. Marcus staggered backward. And Jallen suddenly whispered. Mommy? Raymond looked toward the warehouse door. Then said. She's been alive this entire time. Darnell couldn't breathe. The words echoed through the abandoned warehouse. Your wife is not dead. For 2 years, he had stood beside a grave. For 2 years, he had watched his son cry for a mother who, according to every doctor, every medical record, and every person who had known her, was gone. And now a stranger was standing in front of him claiming that Amara was alive. Darnell shook his head. No. Raymond remained calm. You heard me. You're lying. I'm not. You expect me to believe my wife has been alive for 2 years? Raymond looked at him. I expect you to look at the evidence. Darnell stepped forward. Where is she? Raymond smiled faintly. Not here. Then where? Somewhere safe. Darnell's voice cracked. Take me to her. Raymond shook his head. Not yet. Darnell's anger exploded. You kidnapped my son. I brought him here because I needed your attention. You could have called me. You wouldn't have listened. Darnell looked at Monica. She was standing completely still. Her face had gone pale. Monica, Darnell whispered. She didn't respond. Did you know? Monica slowly shook her head. No. Raymond looked at her. Amara never told you everything. Monica's eyes filled with tears. Then tell me. Raymond stared at her. She asked me to protect you. Monica froze. Why? Because she knew what happened to Maya. Monica's breathing became unsteady. You knew my daughter? I was there. Monica's face crumpled. You were there? Raymond nodded. The night Maya died. Monica stepped forward. What happened? Raymond looked at her. She wasn't supposed to die. Darnell stared. Then what happened? Raymond looked down. She saw something she shouldn't have seen. What? She saw Marcus meeting someone. Darnell immediately turned. Marcus stood near the warehouse entrance. His face had lost all color. Darnell looked at him. Who were you meeting? Marcus didn't answer. Marcus. Still nothing. Raymond spoke. Your father. Darnell's eyes widened. Again. My father? Raymond nodded. Your father wasn't dead. Darnell felt as though the entire world had tilted. My father died 12 years ago. That's what everyone was told. By whom? Raymond looked at Marcus. Ask him. Darnell turned toward Marcus. What is he talking about? Marcus finally spoke. Your father disappeared. Darnell stared at him. You told me he died. I was trying to protect you. Darnell laughed bitterly. Everyone keeps saying that. He stepped toward Marcus. You lied to me about my father. Marcus looked down. Yes. You lied about the money. Yes. You lied about Amara. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Yes. Darnell grabbed his collar. Then tell me the truth. Marcus closed his eyes. Your father wasn't the mastermind. Darnell froze. Then who was? Marcus looked toward Raymond. Your father was working for someone. Who? Marcus whispered. A man named Victor Kane. Darnell didn't recognize the name. Who is Victor Kane? Marcus swallowed. The man who helped build your father's empire. Darnell's face changed. My father's business partner? Marcus nodded. Victor disappeared shortly after your father supposedly died. Darnell slowly released Marcus. Why? Because he was stealing money. How much? Marcus looked at him. Almost $2 billion. Silence. Darnell looked at the flash drive in his hand. Suddenly, everything made sense. The shell companies. The missing money. The secret accounts. Amara's investigation. Maya's death. Raymond. Marcus. His father's disappearance. All of it was connected. But there was still one question. Darnell looked at Raymond. Where is Amara? Raymond reached into his jacket. He pulled out a small envelope. Then he handed it to Darnell. Darnell recognized the handwriting immediately. His heart stopped. Amara. He opened the envelope. Inside was a photograph. A recent photograph. Darnell stared at it. It showed Amara sitting beside a window. She looked thinner. Older. But there was no mistaking her face. She was alive. Darnell's knees nearly gave out. No. He touched the photograph with trembling fingers. Where is she? Raymond said nothing. Darnell looked up. Where's my wife? Raymond finally answered. She's been hiding because she believed the people who wanted her dead were still watching. Darnell's voice cracked. Why didn't she come home? Because she believed you were in danger too. Darnell shook his head. She could have contacted me. She did. Darnell froze. What? Raymond pointed toward Monica. She sent messages through her. Darnell turned toward Monica. Monica's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? I knew Amara was alive. Darnell stared at her. You said you didn't. I knew she survived. Darnell's face hardened. You lied to me. Monica shook her head. I didn't know where she was. How long? Monica hesitated. Almost 2 years. Darnell stepped away. You knew my wife was alive for 2 years? I knew she survived the attack. Darnell couldn't believe what he was hearing. Attack? Monica nodded. Amara wasn't dying when you thought she was. Darnell stared. What? Monica's voice trembled. Her cancer treatment worked. Darnell's eyes widened. That's impossible. It isn't. Then why did the doctor say she was dying? Monica looked at Raymond. Raymond finally answered. Because someone wanted you to believe she was. Darnell's face became pale. Who? Raymond looked toward the warehouse entrance. Someone who had access to her medical records. Darnell immediately thought of one person. Marcus. He turned. Marcus was gone. The door stood open. Darnell's heart dropped. Marcus. He ran toward the entrance. Outside, the sound of an engine roared. A black SUV disappeared down the road. Darnell stood frozen. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A woman's voice came through. Soft. Familiar. A voice he had dreamed of hearing for 2 years. Darnell? His entire body froze. He couldn't speak. His eyes filled with tears. Amara? There was silence. Then she whispered. Don't trust Marcus. The call ended. Darnell stood there, trembling. Monica covered her mouth. Jallen looked up at his father. Daddy? Darnell slowly turned toward his son. Jallen asked the question he had been waiting 2 years to ask. Is Mommy coming home? Darnell looked down at his son. For the first time. He had an answer. But getting Amara back would mean exposing a secret that could destroy the Whitfield family forever. And somewhere across Atlanta, Marcus was already preparing for the final move. Darnell stood in the middle of the warehouse, unable to move. The phone was still pressed against his ear. But the call had ended. He could still hear her voice in his mind. That voice. The voice he had cried himself to sleep remembering. The voice he had heard in his dreams. The voice he had believed he would never hear again. Amara. His wife was alive. Somewhere in Atlanta. And she had just warned him not to trust Marcus. Darnell slowly lowered the phone. Jallen looked up at him. Daddy? Darnell looked down. The little boy was still holding his stuffed elephant. Is mommy coming home? Darnell crouched. He tried to speak. Nothing came out. His eyes filled with tears. Finally, he pulled Jallen into his arms. I think she is, buddy. Jallen squeezed him tightly. I knew she wasn't gone. Darnell closed his eyes. For 2 years, he had tried to convince his son to accept his mother's death. And somehow, the child had never truly believed it. Monica stood a few feet away. She looked devastated. Darnell slowly stood. You knew. Monica lowered her eyes. I knew she survived. You told me you didn't. I didn't know where she was. But you knew she was alive. I knew she survived the attack. Darnell stared at her. What attack? Monica took a deep breath. Your wife was supposed to die. Darnell's face went pale. Who tried to kill her? We don't know. You don't know? Amara believed someone inside Whitfield Global was responsible. Darnell looked toward the road where Marcus had disappeared. Marcus. Monica nodded. But Marcus wasn't alone. Darnell frowned. Then who else? Monica shook her head. We need to find Amara first. Darnell looked at Raymond. Where is she? Raymond didn't answer. Darnell stepped toward him. Tell me where my wife is. Raymond looked at him. She doesn't want you to know yet. Darnell's expression hardened. She's my wife. Exactly. What does that mean? She knows how much you love her. Raymond paused. And she knows you'd do anything to get her back. Darnell looked confused. So? So whoever is watching her knows that too. Darnell's expression changed. If he found Amara, the people hunting her might find her too. Raymond continued. She has spent 2 years building a case. A case against Marcus? Against everyone involved. Darnell looked at the flash drive. That's why they want this. Raymond nodded. The flash drive contains evidence. Evidence of what? Everything. Suddenly, Monica's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? No one spoke. Then a man's voice whispered. Tell Darnell to stop. Monica's face changed. Who is this? The call ended. Darnell immediately asked. Who was it? I don't know. Did they say anything? They told us to stop. Darnell looked at Raymond. Raymond's expression was serious. They know we're here. Darnell looked around the warehouse. Then we leave. They quickly moved toward the vehicles. But before Darnell could reach the SUV, Raymond grabbed his arm. Wait. What? Raymond pointed toward the ground. There was a small red light blinking beneath Darnell's vehicle. A tracking device. Darnell stared. How long has that been there? Raymond shook his head. Long enough. Darnell's heart sank. Someone had been tracking them. Which meant they could already know where Jallen was. Darnell immediately picked up his son. We're not going home. Monica nodded. Where are we going? Darnell looked at Raymond. You tell me. Raymond thought for a moment. There's a place Amara used. Where? An old community center. Is it safe? For now. They drove for almost an hour. No one spoke. Jallen eventually fell asleep in Darnell's arms. Darnell kept looking at his son's face. For the first time in 2 years, hope had entered his heart. But hope frightened him. Because hope meant there was something to lose again. Eventually, they arrived at an abandoned-looking building. Raymond opened the door. Inside was a small room with an old couch, a table, and several boxes. Darnell looked around. Amara stayed here? Sometimes. When? After she disappeared. Darnell's eyes filled with tears. He walked toward the wall. There were photographs. Pictures of Jallen. Pictures of Darnell. Pictures of their old house. And photographs from birthdays Darnell remembered. But some of the photographs were taken recently. Darnell picked one up. It showed Jallen sleeping. Another showed Darnell leaving his office. Another showed Monica sitting outside the shelter. Darnell stared. She was watching us. Raymond nodded. She wanted to know that you were safe. Darnell looked at him. Why didn't she come home? Raymond hesitated. Because of you. Darnell's expression changed. Because of me? Amara believed you were being watched. By Marcus? By someone much more powerful. Darnell frowned. Who? Raymond looked at the photographs. Victor Kane. Darnell's heart stopped. The name he had heard earlier. His father's former business partner. The man who stole billions? Raymond nodded. Victor didn't disappear. Darnell's voice became quiet. Where is he? Raymond looked directly at him. He's been living under another name. Which name? Raymond hesitated. Then he said. Daniel Whitmore. Darnell froze. He recognized the name. Daniel Whitmore was a wealthy investor who had recently purchased a large stake in several Atlanta companies. Including Whitfield Global. Darnell's face went cold. He bought shares in my company? Yes. How much? Enough to take control. Darnell's heart raced. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about his company. His family. His father. Amara. Everything. Then Monica noticed something beneath one of the boxes. A small recorder. She picked it up. There was one message. She pressed play. Amara's voice filled the room. Darnell. Darnell stopped breathing. I don't know when you'll hear this. Her voice trembled. But if you're hearing it, then you finally know I'm alive. Darnell covered his mouth. Amara continued. I need you to forgive me. Tears filled Darnell's eyes. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. A pause. I left because I was trying to keep you and Jallen alive. Darnell whispered. Amara. Her voice continued. There's something I never told you. The recording became quieter. My illness wasn't what killed me. Darnell froze. I was poisoned. Monica's eyes widened. Raymond looked down. Amara continued. And I know who did it. The recording stopped. Silence. Darnell stared at the recorder. Who? Raymond slowly looked at him. There's more. Darnell turned. What? Raymond pointed toward a locked metal box. Amara left that for you. Darnell walked toward it. There was a keypad. 4 numbers were required. He tried Amara's birthday. Wrong. Their wedding anniversary. Wrong. Jallen's birthday. Wrong. Then Jallen suddenly spoke from the couch. 2, 4, 7. Darnell froze. What? Jallen repeated. 2, 4, 7. Darnell stared at the keypad. 247. He entered the numbers. The lock clicked. The box opened. Inside was a passport. A small bank key. A photograph. And one final document. Darnell picked up the photograph. His hands began shaking. It showed Amara standing beside a man. Darnell recognized him. Victor Kane. But that wasn't the shocking part. On the back of the photograph was a date. A date from 3 weeks ago. Darnell stared at it. Victor wasn't hiding anymore. He was back. And Amara had recently met him. Then Darnell opened the document. His face went completely pale. It wasn't a financial record. It wasn't a legal document. It was a birth certificate. And the name printed on it made Darnell's heart stop. Jallen Whitfield. But under the section marked father, there was a name Darnell had never seen before. He looked at Monica. What does this mean? Monica couldn't answer. Because she was staring at the document too. And somewhere across Atlanta, Amara was watching them through a hidden camera. Then she whispered to herself. I'm sorry, Darnell. But you were never supposed to know this yet.